Hey teacher, today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Nasdaq. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave Theory and provide multiple scenarios the price may take and explain why I prefer one counter over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. Starting here on a bit higher time frame on 4 hour at the moment and looking at the higher all the scenarios basically I have from the 16.7k highs that we had around in November 2021. Since then we have a few different options. Let's go through this one first, as for the WXY count I have a couple of different alternatives as well. In this one we would have this as a WXYXZ ending a larger correction down at these lows. At that point again this could be a part of a larger correction. Again, this would be a combination of corrections, so it is still counted as a three-way structure or a corrective wave structure, in which again on higher time frame my expectation is still that we are going to get some kind of rally and then another dump that is somewhat sizable to this, and that is again the higher time frame expectation. There are of course different views on this. I don't like the diagonal count at all. I went through that a couple of weeks ago, so if you're interested in that, check those videos out. The main idea overall is this WXY, in which again we would have this structure ending at these lows we had around the June 17th, and since then we had a rally upwards and a dump downwards. For this one overall we have two different scenarios. Either we have created a connector wave here in the middle for this structure to continue downwards, or this is the start of that connector wave, creating this as a three-way structure like so, and then we are going to be getting a larger a continuation to the downside here. So those are the overall structures. Let's check out the connector being done here. This is the main idea at the moment. Oh, sorry, not the main idea, but it is the idea where we have this connector done as a potential higher time frame X wave. Again, we had a three-way structure here in W, three ways into X, got back to the 0.5. We did not hit the 90% retracement, so we can't have a ABC flat. That's why we have a higher time frame WXY. And the expectation here is again, as we have a WXY, the wave Y would be a three-way structure. In that one, again, we have a few different alternates. Unfortunately here, we need to go through those again as well. But the idea here is that we could have either a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a possible A wave. Again, A wave just because again, we are expecting a three-way structure downwards. So this would be an A, looking for B, and then continuation to the downside for that C wave. And yeah, that's that. We have of course other possibilities here on smaller time frame, having that as a WXY, XZ, or many other alternatives as well, but again we'll talk about those later. The other scenario is this one, in which again this would be that A wave of that connector wave. Then we would get a three-way structure here, or a combination correction that I've labeled here as a WXYXZ. Again, is a bit scuffed this last leg. It looks way better as a five-way structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rather than 1, 2, 3, 3, and then, well, that has to be a 3 as well to get us to that Z wave. So there are differences between these two, and however they are both possible at the moment. Both of them are looking upwards, however again as we had this pivot area here, so that is something similar within both of them. Now this exact count actually hits basically the one-to-one extension in time, comparing this A wave to that B, and we can see that one-to-one was like a day later. So yeah, pretty spot on that part. The next one-to-one is comparing this A wave for that C wave pivoted again from the bottom of that wave B, and that would be around 12th of December. Again, on that scenario, we would be expecting a C wave pivoted from these lows, so a five-way structure, because again, this would be a flat structure. Whether it's going to get a running flat, not taking out the highs here, or a expanded flat, getting beyond the A waves high here, we'll see. So that's that. Those are both two scenarios on higher time frame. Let's check out the lower time frame structures here, and keep in mind that these scenarios fit multiple different counts on higher time frame. The reason why we have these multiple different higher time frame scenarios is just because, again, the smaller time frames are going to get involved in the higher time frames, as these are fractal patterns, and the structures that we get here on smaller time frames are going to define the higher time frame structures. That's why these smaller time frame structures, again, are very important. And again, as more price data gets in, the more often we get to change the higher time frame view as well, and they are definitely need to be monitored. However, although I do have the higher time frame preference in mind, where I have this as my expectation and preference at the moment, if we are getting some kind of odd structure here on smaller time frame, that definitely has an alterations to the higher time frame very fast. So that is why I do like to keep up with the smaller time frames more often than not. So we had the ABC connector here. Again, the lows that we had was on Thursday, 13th of October. Since then, we had a few different ideas. Let's go through them. The bullish count that we were following had the potential of having this as a 1-2, 1-2 previously. But again, now we have taken out the lows that we had here. So that would mean that either this would be a wave 1 to 1, 2, but again, wave 2 of this large size is not very good looking. However, it is still possible, unfortunately, so we have to be acknowledging that. In that scenario, we would have this as a three-way structure, and another three-way structure. Again, some kind of WXY or an ABC. ABC does not really seem to be fitting because, again, I would rather label this as a five-way structure than anything else as an ABC. Again, it gets right to the 2.618 extension, which is again a max for any kind of a flat structure here. So keep that in mind. Again, not very probable to be the case. Then we had the bullish diagonal case. I've had to relabel this a bit, but it is still potential, or it has still some potential left. In this one, again, we would have this as an ABC, another A, B, and C, ABC, ABC, and ABC. It somewhat fits very well. The overthrow here of that fifth wave is quite large. However, again, it is valid. Wave 3 is not the smallest. It is larger than the wave 5 here. And here we did have these divergences forming all around. Since the wave 1 was largest, we were expecting the largest structure here on this first wave, so we are getting those divergences. And indeed, we did get a very big dump here, right into the 2.618 here for that C wave of this ABC. If I'm measuring it here, we can see it right there, 2.618 to the dot. So what we got left is at the moment is very unlikely bullish scenario, a bit more likely bullish scenario with the diagonal having this as a wave 1, 2, and looking for higher. And at the moment, this definitely feels like a 1, 2, 3. Again, with this scenario in mind, it has to be a 1, 2, 3. I don't think, well, of course, it could be a ABC, ABC, and then 5 ways down to take out potentially this low, to create this flat structure here and pull up this way to lower. But again, to me, it is looking pretty good for a 5-way move. Again, the probability is there, since we took out the 1.618 here as an extension, that it is more likely to be a 5-way structure rather than a 3-wave. However, again, we had just a reminder about that as well here, so that, yeah, definitely keep in mind that these are not always happening. Now, on smaller time frame, let's check out the 5 minutes here while we are at it. Again, as we were speaking about this being a 5-way structure, there is definitely a possibility that this is a 3-way. We had this RSI divergence happening all the way from here, these highs against all of the next ones over here. We have had some pump here that took out the divergence, at least on 5-minute time frame. So it is still possible that we are going to get that correction and then higher, and then that would be definitely the area where we would be shorting. Again, one-to-one comparison to this this first wave after this fourth could be done. is the main target here before that dump. One area we would be looking for is exactly this area where we have this previous highs, swing failure pattern them, and then going downwards is definitely an area of interest for me at the moment. I have my alert sets already there in the making. But yeah, those are the scenarios for the bullish diagonal. I feel like this is the only bullish structure I want to actually be looking at, but I wanted to just present the 1-2-1-2 scenario as well, as we went through that again before. Now, since not all of the counts can be bullish, this is still a bearish count. This again is using the idea of having this as a three-way structure as well. In here we would have a 5, 3 and 5, so creating an ABC structure into W, ABC into X, and ABC into Y, WXY into wave Y here to complete a larger time frame wave W. Again, this is very similar to the bullish scenario in which we would have just slightly different, but again, all of these are very three-wave structures. So the bullish diagonal again is very mimicking basically these corrective structures to get that bullish idea to come alive at all. But what I got here after the wave W was put in place was another ABC. Thinking that we could be done here is also a possibility for that X wave. However, again, in time it is very small. Sure, we did retrace quite a bit already, right to the golden pocket here, but again, just because again it is very small in time, I do feel like we might want to be having this as an alternate scenario in which we would have this as a three-way structure again for that B wave, just to give a different view than the bullish view that we had. And then we would have that five-way structure in here coming down for that C wave, depending of course how low this structure retraces. If it retraces to the 10.66k, then I would be looking at this as an ABC instead of this WXY. If we are not even taking out these lows here and we are completing a five-way structure, then it is going to be some kind of running flat structure. That of course that would need us to take out these highs first. But we'll see of course how this is going to turning out and whether this whole structure is going to be a WXY or ABC. The only differentiation between these two is that on WXY we are expecting a three-way structure, on ABC we would be expecting a five-way structure over these lows. So I feel like those are the all scenarios I am actually expecting next week starts. Looking again, it's going to be most likely a choppy area here before a direction is found, but until that I'll keep you posted on the options. But for now, I think that is pretty much everything I wanted to share. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.